And there are people who are sickly, that means who always have some disease or another. And there are people who are healthy. There are people who are ugly and who are beautiful. There are people who are uninfluential, and there are others who are influential. There are people who are poor and who are wealthy. There are people who are low-born and others who are high-born, and there are people who lack in wisdom. That means who are dull or stupid, and there are people who are wise or intelligent. So altogether there are 14 kinds of people, and he pointed out these people to the Buddha and asked why some people live long and some people live short and so on. Then the Buddha gave him the answer very briefly, and Buddha said, young man, beings have karma as their own property. Beings have karma, beings are heir of their karma. They originate from their karma, they are bound to their karma, or they are relatives to their karma, and they have karma as their refuge. And it is karma that distinguishes beings as inferior and superior, or it is karma that makes people, here human beings, different. So Buddha gave him a very brief answer, and he said he did not understand well. So he said, Pandit, I do not understand the meaning of your statement, which is very brief, without exposition. So it would be good if you would explain to me in detail. And so the Buddha explained him in detail. And Buddha gave very brief answer to him because Buddha knew that Subha was a proud man, conceited maybe. He thought he could understand anything the Buddha taught to him, and so Buddha wanted to, press him down a little so that he lost his pride and is able to follow the teachings of the Buddha. So when he requested for a detailed explanation, the Buddha gave the answer in some detail. So these are all put on the page, and you can look at it, and now it's easy to understand. Although these questions were put by Subha, these are the questions we always want to ask, and we want to know the answers to these questions, because we have met these problems in human beings, even born of the same parents and brought up under the same circumstances. Brothers and sisters are different. One may be intelligent while the other is dull. One may live long while the other doesn't, and so on. So this is a question we always want to ask, and we always want to know the answer to these questions. And if you ask these questions to a person who believes in, say, creation, who believes in a Brahma or a God, you will end up with the answer because it was created by God or Brahma that way. But that is not satisfactory. there will be many questions following that. But the Buddha's answers are very convincing and very reasonable and so satisfactory. And Buddha gave answers to these one by one. Now, since the offsprings of the same parents are brought up under the same circumstances or environment, and they are born of the same parents, we cannot point to the environment as the reason or as a cause for their inequality, or we cannot find out to heredity as a cause, because they are born of the same parents under the same conditions. So the reason must be somewhere beyond the heredity and circumstances or environment. And if we cannot find the reason or cause in this life, then we have to go beyond this life backward. And so Buddha found that it was something being did in the past that makes them different in this life. Now Buddha said some people kill living beings, not just once, many times they kill living beings, and as a result of that killing, they are reborn in 4 woeful states, they are reborn in hell and so on. And if they come up to the human existence, that means if they are reborn as human beings, then they will live a very short life, because they indulge in killing living beings, and so their minds are intent upon shortening the life. So that shortening the life, the intent to shortening the life, give results back to him in being short-lived. And there are people who do not kill living beings, who refrain from killing living beings. And these people, after their death, are reborn in the celestial worlds, and when they are reborn as human beings, they live long lives. So people who live short lives are those who practiced killing living beings in their past lives, and those who live long are those who refrain from killing living beings. When you refrain from killing living beings, your mind is on lengthening the lives, and that desire to lengthen the lives causes your life to be long when you are reborn as a human being. Now there are people who are sickly, who have always one kind of illness or another all the time, and who lead unhealthy lives. And these people are, according to the teachings of the Buddha, those who injure other beings. Now, these people do not kill living beings, but they are cruel to living beings. They inflict pain on other beings, they torture other beings, and so on. And so people who injure other beings, when they die, are reborn in 4 woeful states, and when they are reborn as human beings, they are not healthy, they are always in illness. And those who are healthy in this life, there are some people who have never been to a doctor, who have never been to a clinic, who have never even taken maybe a pill or something. So they are very healthy. And why are they healthy in this life? Because in their past lives, they refrain from injuring other people. They do not inflict pain to other people. So actually they are compassionate to other people. And so these people are those who, when they are reborn as human beings, they have a healthy life. And why some are ugly and some are beautiful? Our Buddha said, a person is of an angry or irritable character. Such people, even when criticized a little, they are offended. They become angry. And being of an angry nature, they will be reborn in the four woeful states, and when they are reborn as human beings, they will be ugly. So anger is a cause of ugliness. We can understand this very easily. Even when we are living now, when we are angry, we are ugly. We do not look pleasant. So if we want to know how ugly we are, then when we are angry, we may look ourselves in a mirror, and we'll see how ugly we are at that time. And those who are beautiful are not of angry nature. So they are people who are kind to other people and who do not get angry easily. So if you want to be beautiful, even in this life, try not to get angry. Try to practice metta. So the cause of ugliness is anger, and the cause of beauty is absence of anger. So it teaches us that if we want to be beautiful, if we want to look pleasant, then we are not to get angry easily. And there are people who are uninfluential, and there are others who are influential. Now, sometimes you see people who are powerful, or who talk with authority, and everybody wants to follow that person. And also there are people who are powerless and who have no authority, and so on. So the cause of these is what? Those who are uninfluential are those who are envious in their past lives, who envy the gains, the honor, the respect, the reverence, the salutations, the venerations other people receive. Now, if we are envious of, or if we are jealous of other people's gains, honors, and so on, then we are sure to be uninfluential in our future lives. And those who are influential in this life are those who are not envious, who are not envious of the gains, the honor, the respect, the reverence, the salutations, the venerations other people get. So to be envious is the cause of being uninfluential, and not to be envious is the cause of being influential in this life. Now there are people who are poor, and also there are people who are wealthy. Those who are poor in this life are those who do not give food, clothing, and other things to recluses, to Brahmins, and to other people, or who do not practice dana. And those who are wealthy in this life are those who practice dana in their past lives, who give food, drink, clothing, and other things to other people. So, practice of dana is the cause of being wealthy, and not practicing of dana or being stingy so that we do not give anything to anybody is the cause of poverty. And then there are people who are born lowly and who are born highly. Sometimes you may find people, you may meet people who are born as outcasts, and also people who are born in high families. Now, the cause of a low birth is being obstinate and arrogant, or pride. Such people do not pay homage to those who are worthy of homage, or do not rise up for one in whose presence he should rise up, who does not offer a seat to one who deserves a seat, who does not make way for one for whom he should make way, and who does not honor, respect, revere, and venerate one who should be honored, and so on. So, not being respectful to others is the cause of a low birth. And the cause of high birth is the opposite of that. That is not obstinate, and not being obstinate, and not being arrogant. That is paying homage to those who deserve his homage, paying respect to those who deserve his respect, and rising from his seat, and so on. So, being proud is the cause of being low-born, and absence of pride, being not arrogant, is the cause of being high-born. And then there are those who are lacking in wisdom, who are not intelligent, who are dull, who are stupid, and also there are those who are wise, intelligent, quick-witted. And the difference is caused by asking questions and not asking questions. So those who do not ask what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, and so on, what is allowable and what is not allowable, and so on. So those who do not ask questions like these, when they are reborn as a human being, are unintelligent, and they are dull or stupid people. And those who ask questions regarding wholesomeness of actions and others, when they are reborn as human beings, they are intelligent, and they have wisdom, and they are wise. So asking questions regarding the Dhamma, actually. So asking question is a cause of being wise or being intelligent, and not asking question is a cause of lacking in wisdom. So now you know which practice leads to which condition. Now, killing living beings the practice of killing living beings leads to a short life, and the practice of refraining from killing living beings leads to a long life. And so here we have choice. If we want to live long, we need to refrain from killing living beings, and if we don't mind or if we don't care to live long, we may practice killing living beings. In the same way, if we want to be healthy in our future lives, we refrain from injuring other people. If we want to be beautiful, then we are not to get angry. If we want to be influential, we should get rid of envy or jealousy. If we want to be wealthy, we should practice dana. If we want to be high-born persons, then we should be humble in this life. We should not be arrogant. And if we want to be intelligent, then we must ask questions. So, these are the reasons why some people live long and some people live short, and so on. So Buddha gave answers to the questions put by Subha, and at the end of this discourse, Buddha again said that beings have karma as their own property, and so on, and it is karma that distinguishes human beings into superior and inferior, or that make differences in human beings. So the Buddha's answer is not the creation of any deity or any god or whatever, but because of one's own actions, one's own karmas in the past, one gets to live long or to live short in this life. So it is the karma that makes people different in this life. Now, what is karma? That is a cause of the difference in beings. Now, karma is usually translated as an act or an action or a deed. But technically, karma means a mental state. A mental state called volition, or in Pali, cetana. Now, there is a mental state or mental factor called volition, which wills, by which people will to do something. Or whenever we do something by body or by speech or by mind, there is this volition in our minds. Prompted by this volition, we do actions by body or by speech or by mind. But since every action, either of body or of speech or of mind, is always accompanied by this volition, karma is come to be translated as action or a deed. So we must understand that when we are not seriously talking, we may say that karma means an action or a deed. But if we want to be precise and technical, we should say that karma is a volition. Now, that volition is a mental state or mental factor that arises in our minds. And as a mental state, it arises and it disappears because everything in the world is impermanent. So everything arises and disappears. So it is a mental state, and so as a mental state it arises and disappears. But it is different from other kinds of mental states. Other mental states arise and disappear and they're leaving nothing behind. But this volition, when it disappears, leaves something, some potential to give results in the mental continuum of beings. That is why when the conditions are favorable for a karma to give results, the results appear. Once King Milinda asked the Venerable Nagasena whether the Venerable Nagasena can point out where that karma was stored. And the Venerable Nagasena said it is impossible to say exactly where the karma was stored, but depending upon the continuity or depending upon the mind and body, and when the conditions are favorable, then it gives results. So, although we cannot say, it is impossible to say where exactly karma is stored, but when the conditions are favorable for a good karma to give results, then we get good results, and if the conditions are favorable for bad karma to give results, we get bad results. So, this karma, the volition, when it disappears, it leaves something, some potential in the continuity of beings. And so when the conditions are favorable, we get the results. The Venerable Nagasena gives the simile of the mango tree, right? So we do not know, or it is impossible to say where mangoes are stored, whether in the roots or in the trunks or in the branches, but when it is seasoned and when it gets the moisture, temperature and so on, and when the conditions are favorable, then the fruits come up, or then the tree bears fruits. So in the same way, although it is impossible to say where karma is stored, when the conditions are favorable, we get the results of karma. After understanding what karma is, we should understand what karma is not. So karma is not fate or predestination. If we take karma or predestination as something imposed on beings by some mysterious unknown power, by a deity, by a god, or by a Brahma. Now, whenever we suffer something, or whenever we get something we want, we say, this is the result of karma, or we just say, this is my karma. So it is something like fate, but if fate or predestination is taken as something imposed upon us by others, then karma is not fate or predestination. Because karma is something we did, in past lives, and then we experience the results of this past karma in this present life and in future lives. Now, the results of the karma are the natural outcome of the karma. The results, or the results, good or bad, are not created by any deity or a Brahma or a God. So the good results we get or the bad results we get are not the rewards. The good results we get are not the rewards given by the deity, or the bad results we experience are not a punishment given out by the deity or by God or by Brahma. It is our own doing. So, we get as a result of what we did. So karma is not fate or predestination. If we take fate and predestination as something imposed upon us by an external power, but it is like fate and predestination because we enjoy or we suffer according to our own karma. We enjoy or suffer the results of our own karma. But as I said, the results are not the creation of anybody, but it is the results are the natural outcome of these karmas. Sometimes people think that karma is like defeatism. You accept what is given to you by karma, and you cannot do anything to improve yourself. But that is not correct. Now, by doing good karma, we can get good results even in this life. And so we can improve ourselves by doing good karma. So karma is not defeatism, not accepting defeat without doing anything about it. We accept that what we enjoy or what we suffer is the result of karma. But we try to improve our condition by doing good karma, by doing good deeds. And so karma is not defeatism, as some people think it is. Now the next question is, can we modify the workings of karma, or can we interfere with the workings of karma? Now, even the Buddha himself cannot interfere with the working of karma. Now, when Prince Vidutapa tried to kill Buddha's relatives, Buddha could not do anything because their karma was such that they had to perish at the hands of Prince Vidutapa. So Buddha could not deter the fate to be suffered by his relatives. And that is because the law of karma is a natural law. It is not made by any person. It is not created by any god or deity, but it is a natural law. So since it is natural law, nobody can interfere with the working of the law of karma. But although we cannot interfere with the workings of karma, we can do something about the working of karma, and that is we can create conditions that are unfavorable for the bad karma to give results, and so we will be able to at least postpone the coming of the bad results of akusala karma. Because, as I said before, only when the conditions are favorable does karma give results. If conditions are not favorable, they may lie in wait. The karma will lie in wait. So if we create the unfavorable conditions for akusala karma, bad karma to give results, then we may not get the results of the bad karma. So, although we cannot interfere with the law of karma, we cannot change the law of karma, we can do something so that we do not get the bad results of akusala karma. But that is to some extent only. Because nobody can wipe out the karma or the results of karma altogether. Even the Buddha had to suffer the bad results of his bad karma he did in the past. Buddha often suffered from headache or backache. Sometimes he suffered from fever, and he suffered from a wound in his foot when his foot was hit by a rock, a small rock, which came from the big rock Devadatta pushed down on the Buddha. So even the Buddha was not immune from getting the bad results of his bad karma in the past. So there are many stories in our books that show that there is no escape from the results of bad karma. So we cannot interfere with the working of karma, we cannot change the course of karma, but we can do something so that we can postpone the coming of bad results in some cases or to some extent. But nobody can wipe the karma altogether. Let us say nobody can wipe the past karma altogether, or the result of past karma altogether. So everybody has to suffer or experience the result of his karma in the past. Now there is a saying that at the moment of the attainment of arahantship, all karmas are exhausted. Now the Magga consciousness at the moment of the attainment of the fourth stage of enlightenment is called one that performs the exhaustion of karmas. So, at the moment of the attainment of arahantship, it is said that all karmas are exhausted. Now, that does not mean that all past karmas are destroyed, and so one doesn't have to experience the results of these past karmas. Now, what happened at the moment of the attainment of an arahantship is that all mental defilements are eradicated at that moment. When there are no mental defilements in the mind, whatever that person does is just doing. That does not constitute karma, because that person has no attachment to any life or any existence, and that person has no ignorance, and so whatever that person does is just doing, and it does not constitute karma. In other words, those who have attained arahantship, the Buddhas and Arahants, do not accumulate fresh karmas. They do not get new karmas, although they continue to do good things. Buddha taught beings, and Buddha helped many people to get free from suffering, and Arahants also do good things to their fellow monks as well as to lay people. But they do not get kusala when they do this. And their karma or actions are called what? Kiriya, right? Just doing, just happening. So, the exhaustion of karma accomplished by the fourth stage of enlightenment means that no karma is accumulated after the attainment of the fourth stage of enlightenment. Since there is no karma, there will be no results, no results in the future of karma. Then what about the old karmas they did in the past? They still have to experience the result of those old karmas, like the Buddha suffering from headache and so on. And also the Arahants suffering from illness. And I think you know that the Venerable Moggallana was attacked by 500 robbers, and he was killed. So even though they do not accumulate new karmas, they still have the store of old karmas, and so they have to suffer or enjoy the consequences of their karma in the past. But after their death, there is no more rebirth. They are not reborn anymore. So the karmas they accumulated in the past cannot give results after their death. You know the story of Angulimala. So Angulimala killed how many people? 1,000 people, maybe more than 1,000, right? So he killed many human beings. And then Buddha went to him, and Buddha taught him, and he became first a monk, and then later he became an arahant. And as an arahant, before he died, he had to suffer some consequences of his bad karma. But he did a lot of akusala karma, right? If he did not become an arahant, these akusala karmas would have given him bad results for many lives. But since he was not reborn, those akusala karmas cannot give results. So for him, these akusala karmas become defunct. it is like a person commits a crime and then he dies. So the police cannot do anything to arrest him and to punish him because he is now out of their reach. So in the same way, when an arahant dies, there is no more rebirth for him. So since there is no more rebirth, the past karmas cannot give any results to him after his death, and so they become defunct. So when we say the arahants achieve exhaustion of karma, we mean they do not acquire fresh or new karma, but they still experience the results of their karma they did in the past. And many karmas become defunct. That means they cannot give results when arahants and also Buddhas passed away or died, because arahants or Buddhas are not they are not reborn, or they do not have any more rebirth. Now we don't want to get bad results of bad karma. So if we don't want to get bad results, we must not do bad karma. But what if we have done bad karma? What must we do regarding the bad karma we did? Now, Buddha said, even if even if we were to be remorseful for the bad karma we did in the past, that bad karma will not be undone. We have already done it, and so we cannot undo it. What is done is already done. And so being remorseful makes our situation worse. We accumulate more akusala, more unwholesome karma, by being regretful about the bad karma we did in the past. So Buddha meant to say, forget about it. So don't think of that bad karma again and again and acquire more akusala karma. So forgetting about it is called abandoning that bad karma. And then in the future, to refrain from doing that bad karma. So with regard to bad karma, the first thing is not to think about it, or not to be remorseful about that bad karma, and then try to refrain from such bad karma in the future. So that is called abandoning that evil karma, or getting beyond that evil karma. So if we have done something bad, some bad karma in the past, then we should not think about it again and again and be remorseful. But we should refrain from doing similar bad karma in the future. And that way, say, we leave behind the bad karma. Now, Buddha talked about wrong views about karma, and we must understand these wrong views. Now, one wrong view is whatever a person experiences, be it happiness, pain, or neutral feeling, all that he experiences because of past action or past karma. Now that is said to be a wrong view. Whatever a person experiences, happiness or pain or neutral feeling, that he experiences as a result of his past karma. And Buddha said it is a wrong view. Do you agree with that? I'll say it again. Whatever a person experiences, happiness or pain or neutral feeling, he experiences as a result of past karma. Isn't it correct? Huh? So this is one wrong view. Now, in order to understand this, we must understand that feelings or whatever are accompany resultant consciousness. They accompany wholesome and unwholesome consciousness, and they accompany kiriya, consciousness that arise in Buddhas and Arahants. With regard to a feeling that accompanies resultant consciousness, it is true, right? Because suppose I have pain here, so I experience that pain. The experience of that pain is the result of past karma, right? It is a resultant consciousness. So it is true. But when I have kusala mind or akusala mind, there is still somanasa or domanasa or ubeka, right? That is not the result of any karma, because it is itself karma. We are acquiring new, right? And also the consciousness that arises in Buddhas and Arahants. So Buddhas and Arahants also experience somanasa or domanasa or dukkha or neutral feeling. And these feelings or experience of these feelings are also not the result of any karma. So if you say whatever a person experiences, whether it is happiness or pain or neutral, it is because of past karma, you are wrong. So that is one wrong view about karma. Second wrong view is whatever a person experiences, whether it is happiness or pain or neutral feeling, all that he experiences because of the creation of feelings by Ishvara or by God. That means a person experiences happiness or pain or neutral feeling because those feelings are created by God. So God created happiness for him, pain for him, neutral feeling for him. So if you take that way, that is another kind of wrong view about karma. So this is easy to understand. Is that whatever a person experiences, whether it is happiness or pain or neutral feeling, all that he experiences without a cause and without a condition. So there is no cause or condition for his being happy or painful or being neutral. So that is also a wrong understanding, a wrong view about karma. Now, happiness or pain or neutral does not arise without any condition. Any one of these is dependent upon some condition. Without conditions, they cannot arise. So when we say happiness or pain or neutral feelings a person experiences without cause or without a condition, that is wrong. And when we say that happiness or pain or neutral feeling is created by a God or a Brahma, we are also wrong, because they are dependent on conditions and not they are created. So the second and the third wrong views about karma are easy to understand, but the first is a little difficult. You have to understand Abhidhamma in order to understand this. Okay, now there is one passage which is important but difficult to understand. That is number 8. The Buddha said, I do not teach the extinction of karma that are willed, performed and heaped up without their results having been experienced. And these result in this life or in the next life or in the lives after next. I think that part is not so difficult. Karmas do not come to extinction without their having been experienced. That is, until they give results, they are not extinguished. After they give results, then they disappear, like that. So that is not difficult. But the next sentence is, I think, difficult. Never do I teach making an end of suffering without the results of karmas that are willed, performed and heaped up having been experienced. I do not teach making an end of suffering without the results of karma having been experienced. That means you have to experience the result of karmas before you can make an end of suffering. It gives me a lot of thinking, a lot of, dukkha to me. I do not teach making an end of suffering without the results of karmas having been experienced. So if you do not have experienced the result of karma, you cannot make an end of suffering. So if you want to make an end of suffering, you have to experience all the results of your karma. No? Then what is the meaning of this? I don't know. So I want you to think about it, but not during the retreat. So please read it again and again and think about it, and we'll talk about it at our next class.